Sometimes I carry an additional pair of fins like this if I'm doing a particular fin test. The first fins I'm going to test are the RK3 from Apeks. Now this fin is very soft material. You can see how quickly it flexes there. When I test any fin, I do all the range of finning techniques. The fin itself is very light. It actually will float if you take it off, and I show you that during my fin weight testing video. This fin, being so soft and supple, performs differently to many other jet fins. It is easy to put your feet in the correct angles, as the fin does not give a lot of resistance, and the results you get back are pretty good. This is my frog kick. It's a full frog kick, give you an idea of how much the fin blades flex. You do get fairly good propulsion with the fins. The only concern for me would be they are very light, and it'd be nice to see heavier ones, especially if you're going to use a Drysuit. Now I'm doing a shuffle kick. Given these fins are so supple, it was quite easy to perform. Now we're doing the back kick. And again, given they're quite short as well, very easy to use, and they do give good results. If I was using these fins in a Drysuit, however, I think they would definitely be very light and hard to manage, as the foot would always feel like it's lifting. But as the wetsuit I'm using is about 4 months old, it's bedded in, and my feet were actually a little heavy. So by adding this fin, it made my legs a little bit neutral to slightly positive, so I get good results. Make sure you check out my other video on fin weight testing, as in that video I go through more exact buoyancy testing. Now you can see I just switched to a full flutter kick, and I'm actually kicking fairly hard. And I'll do it again now on the return journey. Due to the fin being so flexible, you can see here it just kind of flicks, which is actually pretty useful. You do get some good propulsion out of it. So the material the fins are made out of is very good. I just wish it was heavier. The fin you're looking at now is a UTD Jet fin, and the actual blade area is a lot shorter than most other jet fins. For me, I didn't really get on very well with this fin, and I found that it impacted the way I kick quite a lot. I tend to find you had to do a lot of work to get any real performance out of the fin. Now I've seen a few instructors online who swear by these fins and really recommend them. I think for doing just modified versions of kicks, they work okay, as you're only doing small kicks, but you tend to have to always move the fin to get any real propulsion out of it. Here I'm doing the back kick. Now yes, they're easy to reset into the start position of the back kick, but the pull itself, it's easy, but it doesn't give me that much propulsion. Same for moving forwards. So I tended to find that I needed to kick constantly with these fins, as they just were not giving me that much propulsion back for the work I was putting in. I believe they do offer these fins in different weights and stiffnesses, and that's kind of useful, but for me they're just generally very short, so it's unlikely I would use these or recommend them. If you're a diver who had real problems with flexibility in the ankle and you found most fins were too long, they could be a suitable option for you. The next fin I'm going to show you is the Hollis F2 Fin. This is a travel fin. It's extremely lightweight, kind of similar in terms of buoyancy to the Apeks RK3. This fin is very different than the Hollis F1, the other jet fin model they offer. The problem with anybody who makes a travel fin, they're doing it because they want to keep the weight down, so it's less weight in your bag when you travel. But by doing that, the fins kind of lose a lot of performance. So for me, it's just not worth investing in a pair of travel fins. You're much better off sticking to one pair of fins that you use all the time and just sacrifice either a bit more money in terms of baggage allowance or take a bit less clothes. I was able to do the full range of kicks, but I had to put in a lot of work with the back kick to really get any kind of propulsion out of the fin. For a simple shuffle kick like I'm doing here, yeah, they work okay, but you're not moving too much and there's not really much blade giving you the propulsion. It's more just you moving the feet a lot to get the propulsion. You can see here during the trim check, so I relax the whole body, just breathe shallowly. The feet really start to rise behind me. And that's just due to the fins being so light. I found that as I was doing the full frog kick with the fins, I'd make the kick and then halfway through, as I pull the legs out, the fins just kind of slam together and you lose all that back end of the propulsion and glide. So really I think with these fins you just put a lot more effort in than you do with something like the Mares Quattro, which I'm using here. This is a full bladed fin that has channels built into it. It is definitely longer than some of the other fins and generally a bit longer than a jet fin, but it really is quite soft and supple at the tip of the fin, so it gives a really nice glide when you get used to the kicking style. For the majority of diving I do now, I tend to use this fin, as for me overall it gives some of the best results. The fin is fairly neutral in the water, which is ideal as I tend to have positive feet when I first get a new wetsuit, and as the wetsuit beds in, my feet tend to go through neutral to actually slightly negative. So having a neutral fin gives me the least amount of impact as the wetsuit I'm using starts to bed in. If you're actually diving in a Drysuit with thick underlayers, you might find that this fin is too light and you do need to have more weight, which is where the majority of jet fins on the market come in, as they're normally quite a lot heavier. The jet fin you can see here is actually the OMS Slipstream, and this is a neutral to negative jet fin, but it's not quite as heavy as the others. This can be good for travel as it's still quite a stiff fin, and if you like the kicking style you get with jet fins, then you might find this one works well for you and you can use it for traveling. I do know other manufacturers like xDeep are making jet fins of different weights and buoyancy characteristics, so it's going to be interesting to see what comes out, and I'll start making more fin reviews as more fins hit the market. If you have more fins you'd like to see reviewed, then just let me know and I'll do my best to review them.